definitely never had a rental experience like mine. There was clearly only me living in the house. Yet I always felt something unclean was hiding there. In the morning, I found my milk and bread house-eaten. At noon, the door would mysteriously open by itself. Even halfway through the night, I'd hear typing sounds coming from the storage room. Just as I was about to move out of this eerie place, a message suddenly appeared on the unused computer screen. Who exactly is causing trouble in my room? No matter if you're human or spirit, show yourself right. Now, Big Sister isn't afraid, so I put down my luggage and sat trembling in front of the computer, lost in thought. Let's rewind a few days. Recently, I've been feeling like someone else was living in my apartment. I'm not even sure if they're human, but they're definitely a neat freak. The hair in the bathroom, even the dog hair shed by my dog Da Huang gets cleaned up while I sleep. At first, I didn't notice anything unusual. I just thought the place felt a bit strange. Later, I realized it was strangely clean. I moved here purely because it was cheap. Now, it's cheap, alright, but now there's an invisible roommate. Who wouldn't be scared? A few months ago, right after graduating, I got laid off by my company. Unfortunately, I still haven't found a new job. My wallet's getting emptier by the day, so I had to find a cheaper place, which is this one at 1,200 yuan a month. Before moving in, the agent told me it was a shared apartment with a one-bedroom and a living room unit split into 2 single rooms. Compared to other places where a single room costs 2,000 or 3,000 yuan, this was already super cheap. But when I arrived, there was no partition in the living room. The agent quickly explained, "Young man, no need for partitions. The master bedroom tenant is away on business. They won't be back for 3 to 5 months. You can enjoy suite-like comfort for shared apartment rent. You'll have the kitchen and bathroom all to yourself. It's an amazing deal." Now I know why. Whatever, I stared at the locked master bedroom door, my mind racing with wild thoughts. After I fell asleep, the door creaked open. Just a crack, and something wrapped in a white sheet floated out. It silently hovered right in front of my nose, checked that I was asleep, then picked up a broom, and started sweeping up the dog hair. What the heck? That's way too absurd. Anyway, I couldn't stay in this place anymore, so I told the agent I wanted to cancel the lease. He said I could move out, but the deposit plus 3 months rent 5,000 yuan total wouldn't be refunded, not a single cent. Then I'd have to sleep under a bridge. I got angry and said there was a ghost in the room. He got upset too. Hey, don't go making things up, young man. You need evidence to say stuff like that. Fine, you want evidence? Just wait, I'll catch this ghost myself. There's another kind of ghost in this world, poverty. And I'm that ghost, the poor ghost. A poor ghost willing to hunt ghosts for 5,000 yuan. After returning home, I took a long nap. That night, I deliberately left the bathroom light on and pretended to sleep. Lying on my side, I squinted toward the master bedroom door. Click, it was past midnight. I heard a sound, like someone turning the lock from inside. Humming Unity is strength to calm my nerves. I pulled out my phone and aimed it at the master bedroom door, my hand shaking like a leaf. But after waiting a long time, nothing came out. Still, there were faint noises from inside, sounding like rainfall. I got up and walked toward the master bedroom to listen more closely. Before I knew it, my ear was pressed against the door. It's not the sound of rain. It's the sound of typing on a keyboard. I gently knocked on the door. The sound suddenly stopped. There really was something inside. The door was locked tight, but I couldn't help gripping the doorknob. To my surprise, the door opened. I turned on the light. I found it was a bedroom every girl dreams of. The entire room was decorated in pink. Right next to the bed stood a huge plush doll. On the desk sat all kinds of Barbies and a pile of blind box figurines. Opposite the bed was a wall cabinet, filled with illustrated books and landscape photos. Everything was perfectly tidy and spotless. Wait, that can't be right if no one's lived here this long. It couldn't possibly be this clean. And why is the computer screen still on? Half the screen displayed a draft of a shoujo manga store board. My heart pounded in rhythm with the blinking cursor. Leaning closer, I saw a Word document titled Manga Story Outline. I tapped the spacebar with one finger. Suddenly, the keyboard started typing by itself. A line of text appeared on the screen. Are you a ghost? Was that directed at me? I held my breath involuntarily. Just then, the chair moved slightly, as if an invisible person had just stood up from it. Ghost! I screamed and bolted out of the house. I worked at the convenience store until morning, my whole body aching, my throat sore, thinking I absolutely had to confront the real estate agent. But last night, I forgot to record any evidence. On my way back, I ran into some elderly women doing morning exercises in the neighborhood, so I went up and asked them, has anyone recently been seen around my building? Well, just the other day, there was a young girl. An ambulance came for her in the middle of the night. She died suddenly of myocardial infarction. Young man, let me tell you, don't think you're too young to skip exercise. Looking at your build, you don't seem very strong either. Hey ha! One of the aunties kicked her leg in a full 180-degree stretch, and kept lecturing me about the health benefits of exercise. The girl the auntie mentioned must have been the one haunting my apartment. That unscrupulous agent rented out a place where someone had just died. I returned to the master bedroom, and searched through the computer for clues. Instead, I found a diary file on the desktop. The date was today. It must have been written by that girl's ghost. I opened it. It read, Diary April the 12th. Lately, I keep feeling like there's someone else in the house. Dog hairs mysteriously appear in the room. And there are always snack wrappers lying around. I clean up every day, but they reappear daily. There must be a ghost in here. For the past 2 years, I've stayed home drawing manga. I sleep during the day, and write or draw at night, living each day in solitude, following a fixed routine. Now cleaning up those dog hairs takes so much time that it's completely disrupted my schedule. Just now, while writing my manga outline, I suddenly heard someone knock on the door. I stopped and waited, but the door didn't open. Yet I felt a cold gust of wind rush in, and then the spacebar on my keyboard suddenly pressed itself. It scared the sweat right out of my palm. I typed on the keyboard to ask, are you a ghost? He didn't reply. Instead, he let out a strange scream, flying me to death. Reading this, I have to admit, this diary actually made me laugh. I flipped through all her diary entries, and realized she was actually my fellow manga artist. Out of curiosity, I looked through the computer and found her photo. Turns out she's actually a pretty girl with yellow, long hair flowing over her shoulders, slender, delicate eyebrows, bright eyes, someone who's been single since birth. The more I looked at him, the more refined and handsome he seemed. Ah, what a pity, he's already dead. His diary from half a month ago read, has the manga website system crashed? Why can't I upload the manga I drew? Silly girl, it's not that their system crashed. It's you who's crashed. Yet this guy hadn't even realized he was dead. Instead, he thought I was a ghost. Well then, why should I be afraid of him? So I changed my mind about moving out, and left a comment in his document, typing in the middle of the night. Don't use a mechanical keyboard. It's so loud. Even ghosts need sleep. If you don't behave, I'll take your life. Haha, I was just trying to scare a ghost. Not only is the rent cheap, there's also a little girl ghost who cleans up dog hair for free. Living in this haunted house is seriously a great deal. I searched online for her manga, and found out her name was Lu Ruyan. All her works are shonen, romance manga. Hardly anyone reads it, but the art style is exactly what I like. Very expressive. In the manga's description, she wrote that she liked Jiz Yao Yao's novels, so she created a love story using elements from those novels. I read for a while, and actually got hooked, but the story made me so anxious. So I grabbed my drawing tablet and wrote on his manga draft. Hurry up and update. By midnight, the keyboard started clacking again. He actually listened to me. This time he used a silent membrane keyboard. He replied to my comment. Do you think my artwork is okay? It's passable. Hurry up and draw some H stuff for your daddy, got it? You're still here? I haven't figured out the ending yet. Wow, you're not scared of me at all? I understand how painful it is for a manga artist to have no readers. But does he really want a ghost as a reader? Aren't you afraid of me? I was at first, but a ghost who reads manga can't be all bad, right? You're a guy with a dog, right? Just then, Da Huang wagged his tail and walked in, staring at the empty ergonomic chair, let out two soft barks, as if he could actually see someone there. Liu Ruyan typed another annotation. Where are you from? Are you interrogating me like the police? Sorry, I rarely get to talk to anyone. I don't know what to say. I'm from the south. Then why did your ghost end up here? Come to think of it, I don't have anyone to talk to either. Ever since I lost my job, I haven't spoken to another person for months. All my anxiety and frustration have been bottled up inside. So I exaggerated dramatically as I told him everything. Why did you end up here? Well, that's a long story. My stepmother never liked me. Later, she had a son with my dad. I became someone nobody wanted at home, at school. I was withdrawn. I had no friends. My only hobby was drawing. But my family wouldn't let me study art professionally. So I taught myself after graduation. I came to the capital hoping to find a manga-related job. But I only ended up doing odd jobs. So at work, I became completely dispensable. Maybe my art really was terrible. I got fired and never found another job after that. Eventually, I ran out of money completely. I didn't want to call my family for help. Because even if I asked them, they wouldn't give me to spare. Right here, in this room, I killed myself typing furiously on the keyboard. Everything except the last sentence was true. After pouring my heart out, I felt much better. Then why was your dog with you? Probably starved to death after I died. He's kinda dumb. Da Huang barked at me twice, as if he knew I was scolding him. I graduated from the Central Academy of Fine Arts. If only we'd met earlier. Maybe I could have helped you review your artwork. There's something I can't figure out. This apartment was allocated to me as part of a resettlement deal. I've never rented it to anyone before. When did you commit suicide here? I lived upstairs before I died. I made it up randomly. The upstairs unit was also assigned to my family, but we rented it out through an agency. I'm not sure if anything ever happened there or not. So this Liu Ruyan is actually a local Beijinger who got rich from demolition compensation and a COPA graduate too. How did she end up becoming someone who never leaves the house? It's really hard to understand. Just as I was thinking this, the keyboard started typing on its own again. By the way, what's your name? My name is Liu Ruyan. Nice to meet you. I feel like we're kind of alike. My name is Luxingkin. Please, I wouldn't dare be like you. If I were in your position, I'd definitely live a colorful life. After that, I started chatting with him every day about all sorts of things, sharing everyday frustrations, sometimes even watching movies together on this computer. In terms of cultural entertainment, we actually have pretty good chemistry. Crossing the street, he kept trying to upload his new manga but couldn't get it online. I became his only reader, precisely because of this. He cared deeply about my opinions. What worried me was that one day he'd realize he was already dead. During that period, I went to several job interviews, all of which failed. Desperate to start earning money quickly, I took an internship at a small company with extremely demanding requirements. The workload was terrifyingly intense, but the boss seemed convinced I would either accept it or leave. His attitude was basically, take it or get out. I worked nonstop for a whole week, getting home past 1 or 2 a.m. every day, collapsing onto the bed and falling asleep instantly. Finally, the weekend arrived. Only then did I realize I completely ignored Lurian for days. On Saturday night, I walked into the master bedroom and saw the Word document titled Comic Big Light was open, but he hadn't typed a single word. Suddenly, he switched away and wrote in a blank document. Luke Xingchen, have you already left? I haven't heard from you in a whole week. But Da Huang still seems to be living here. My whole routine is messed up. I've been stuck on the comic outline for days. My mind is so chaotic. I just want to talk to you. I think I might like you. I might like you. I might. Liu Ruyan didn't know. I watched as he slowly deleted that sentence. And changed it to, I guess you've probably been reincarnated by now. I wanted to reply to him, but my fingers hovered over the keyboard, unable to press any keys. Looks like this girl has developed feelings for me. No wonder when we watched movies together before. She insisted on rewatching a Chinese ghost story. In movies, sure, but who'd willingly pursue a hopeless romance in real life? She has such a great figure in her photos. Yet I can neither touch nor feel her. Someday, I'll be reincarnated. A bowl of mango soup. And he'll forget me, leaving me alone painfully chasing memories. I really don't want to live such a tragic life. Forget it, just pretend I didn't see anything. I'd better focus on living well in the world of the living. A bit later, I replied to him in the comment section. I lied, saying I'd been at the Reincarnation Registration Bureau these past few days. You're already on the reincarnation waiting list. You'll be leaving soon. It was a white lie, meant to crush that tiny flicker of hope in his heart. Oh, that's actually great. Have you set a date yet? Hard to say. Does that sound right? Soon. As quickly as a week or as long as a month. That's quite a while. He hasn't replied at all. He must really show them me. I started getting nervous. What if he confesses to me right now? Thankfully, his keyboard stayed silent. He asked what the Reincarnation Registration Bureau looks like. Have you seen the movie Afterlife? It's pretty much just like the setting in that film. I remember in that movie, everyone could only take one unforgettable memory from their life, capture it in a photo, and bring it to heaven. If it were you, what memory would you choose to take? That really stumped me. I thought and thought, but couldn't recall any truly unforgettable memory. I never expected that. As a kid, I always dreamed of going to an amusement park, but after Mom passed away, Dad and my stepmom only ever took my younger brother. I love going out, but not so much when I'm alone. Maybe if someone went out with me, that would become my unforgettable memory. Being alone has its own kind of freedom. I know that, but I still hate it. Since coming to the capital 3 years ago, I haven't visited a single famous tourist spot. I just don't want to go alone. Oh, by the way, can you save a photo of yourself onto my computer? We've known each other for so long, yet I still don't know what you look like. Also, could you save one of your comics for me too? I told him to wait. The next day, I saved my photo and comic onto his laptop. But this guy didn't give my comic any feedback at all. I spent half an hour carefully selecting that piece. It's one of my proudest works. A few days later, my company suddenly sent me on a business trip to Hangzhou to hand out flyers at a booth. I immediately went back. Home once, to leave Da Huang at the pet shop. Then I left a message for Liu Ruyang on my computer. I'm going to the Reincarnation Registration Bureau for training. Before I leave, I have a question for you. Why didn't you say anything after receiving my comic? When I get back, you better give me a proper review. Otherwise, I'll turn into a vengeful ghost and haunt you. After venting all night, I finally felt better. That same day, I took a high-speed train to Hangzhou, followed by 3 straight days at a comic convention. My mind kept wandering elsewhere. After the convention ended, I rushed straight home to that computer, completely forgetting about Da Huang. First I checked whether his comic had been updated. No updates since Dad's been gone. So lazy. Then I opened Liu Ruyang's diary and saw something alarming. Maybe 8th entry. Something strange happened today. For some reason, there's no one outside in the world anymore. These past 2 years, I've hardly stepped out the door, and I don't even like going out. But the day before yesterday, I was drawing a picture of Luke Xingchen. I call these drawings high-quality imitations of tourist photos. I've already drawn several of them, but those earlier ones all had popular tourist spots as their backgrounds. I wanted to take them to a place I love visiting. Kaochang, the art village. It's not far from my home. There's a cafe there. The owner has collected many odd and unusual pieces of furniture. It's really interesting. Come to think of it, I haven't been there in 34 years. I wonder what it looks like now. I just wanted to go and see. But after I left the house, I noticed that there wasn't a soul around. The convenience store was empty. The streets were empty. Even the cars driving on the road were empty. I hadn't walked far. When I started getting lost, it felt as if countless roads suddenly appeared before me. I had no choice but to flee back home. What on earth is going on? His diary must be describing the world after death. A world without people. I thought about opening the folder on my computer, labeled high-quality imitation tourist photos. I froze inside were drawings he'd made of me. In those pictures, we'd visited every scenic spot in the city together. We were at the most cliché tourist attractions, striking the cheesiest peace signs. It was as if we'd really visited all those places together. We smiled so brightly, so carefree. He asked me for those photos just so he could create these drawings. Suddenly, I felt as if a piece of my heart had been hollowed out. Why does the sunset outside look so unusually brilliant? Damn it, how am I supposed to tell him the truth now? I sat in front of my computer until deep into the night. I figured he should be awake by now. So I typed, "Are you there?" He replied quickly. Guess who I ran into when I went out today? Ji Xiaojiao. Hey, I got his autograph. Why was he so excited? It felt like the gloom from his diary had vanished completely. Wait, hasn't the writer Ji Xiaojiao been dead for a long time? Does he already know? My feelings grew complicated. I started typing. There's something I need to tell you. You don't have to say it. Ji Xiao. Teacher told me. I'm already dead, right? That day, I was writing a manuscript when my chest suddenly hurt. I called my mom. I hadn't spoken to her in 6 months, but she didn't pick up. After that, I passed out. When I woke up, everything seemed fine. But actually, it wasn't fine at all. It was because I was already dead. Isn't that right? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kept it from you. It's okay. I just think you're incredibly brave. Aren't you afraid I'll take you with me too? If we're talking about bravery, aren't you the same? You weren't scared either, even when you thought I was a ghost. Although he didn't express it in words. I could sense his growing depression. For a very long time, he stopped updating his comics. Sometimes when I typed on the keyboard, he wouldn't respond. Every now and then I'd look at those imitation tourist photos again, hoping deep down they were real. Yet, no matter which one of us was the ghost, the idea of strolling together through sunlit tourist spots was always destined to remain unfulfilled. For some reason, this left me feeling utterly dispirited too. I made a small mistake at work, and got fired again. The reason is that I couldn't handle the job during my internship. Late at night, my personal belongings were taken from my workstation. I left the company, because I could no longer use the company's car. I didn't take a taxi home, but when I reached the subway station, the subway had also stopped running. As I stepped out of the station, a driver asked me, "Hey kid, where are you headed? Can you lower the fare to Jinwang Jiyuan?" I knew he was an unlicensed driver, and I just wanted to save a little money. And he offered a very low price. I got in the car. I leaned against the window, watching the city's nightscape. Tall buildings towered in the distance, their lights dazzling. Nearby, dilapidated buildings stood silently. I'd have to return to my hometown for a new one. In the capital, I hadn't made a friend in over 3 years, nor had I ever been in a relationship. The only person I could really connect with was a dead man. I remembered the line Lu Ruyan had deleted, and recalled the words she had once written for me. Only then did I realize that if I were to leave the capital, what I'd miss most was the gentle rain falling outside the car window. The city's neon lights turned hazy, and I was overcome by drowsiness. I gradually fell asleep. I hadn't fully awakened. Wake up, wake up. The one calling me to wake up was none other than Lu Ruyan, right in front of me. The real Lu Ruyan, right there, looked even better than in her photos. Long eyelashes, eyes like crescent moons, but her face was etched with concern. Wake up, yeah. This unlicensed driver doesn't know where he's planning to leave you. We're almost at the city's outskirts. Aren't I awake already? Though I felt utterly powerless, I looked ahead, and then realized, wait, there's no one in the driver's seat. The wheel seems to be gripped by an invisible hand. Am I still dreaming? Or have I entered the afterlife in my dream? I couldn't see any living soul around. This car had already passed Jinguan Jiyuan, but it hadn't stopped heading toward the suburbs. This unlicensed driver must be up to something. I suddenly remembered some horrifying news stories about drivers drugging healthy young people and abducting them in black cars for kidney harvesting. I didn't know how to wake up, and I was terrified. I'm so young. Never haven't even been in a relationship. Not even having held a girl's hand. And I'm still a virgin. If they harvest my kidneys, how can I ever impress a future girlfriend? Wasn't I drugged? With my build beating, that unlicensed driver would have been a breeze. But right now, I didn't even have the strength to raise my hand. At that moment, Lu Ruyan put her hand on my head to soothe me. Sink in. Don't be afraid. Your kidneys, I'll protect them. Even drugs, I've never even tried. How could I let someone else be kidney harvested, while at the same time desperately hoping that she could save me? Then Lu Ruyan continued, I'll see if I can frighten her. Immediately, she crawled from beside me to the front seat, then opened the front door, and began climbing onto the roof. She balanced atop the car near the window, and saw someone hanging upside down by the windshield, wearing a ghastly grimace. She shouted at the driver in a terrifying voice. Hey, stop the car! Yeah! What hurt my master? Yeah! Stop the car immediately! Yeah! Her voice was piercing. Immediately afterward, the vehicle came to a sudden stop. Liu Ruyan was thrown forward by Anesha. She flew quite far. I instinctively pulled the door handle. My whole body rolled out of the car. Liu Ruyan quickly ran over to help me up. Just now? She must have seen me. She got startled. Haha! Liu Ruyan laughed smugly as she watched me clutch my injured waist. Are you okay? I'm fine. You should wake up soon. Your body is probably still sleeping in the car. It's dangerous. I don't want to wake up yet. Can you walk with me? Will you come? Of course I can. After the numbness faded, streetlights formed yellow halos in the drizzle. Liu Ruyan and I walked side by side, taking the tiniest steps at the slowest pace. Although just now, when it flew out, it looked pretty comical. It reminded me of Black Widow from the Avengers. Climbing onto the car roof, still pretty cool. In the drizzle, I noticed his slightly flushed cheeks. I stopped walking, placed both hands on his shoulders. Fine, be a ghost girl then. Anyway, as a guy, I'm not losing out either way. I decided not to suppress my feelings for him anymore. With a slightly trembling voice, I said to him, Liu Ruyan, I like you too. Actually, when I saw that high-quality fake tourist photo you drew for me, I already started liking you a bit. Those words jumped straight from my heart to my lips. Silence, a long drawn-out silence. The drizzle landed on my skin, cool and refreshing. I felt my burning hot cheeks might evaporate the raindrops. My heartbeat grew faster and faster, waiting for his response. What do you mean by like me too? That word too, he asked, puzzled. That day you wrote in the document. I kind of like you. I saw it all. Ah, so that's how it is. Then would you be willing to be a ghost girl's boyfriend? I will. A loud truck horn jolted me awake. I was back in the car, leaning against the window. Was everything that just happened only a dream? But then I realized the car really had stopped by the roadside, and that black car driver was slumped on the ground, staring fearfully at the windshield. I walked toward him. He started wailing. Master Taoist, I was wrong. I was wrong. I shouldn't have thought about harvesting your kidneys. Please, tell your ghost friend to leave me alone. So Yu really had been here just now, and I met him in my dream. I quickly moved away from the black car driver, and hailed a taxi home. When I got home, I typed on his computer. I just dreamed about. That wasn't a dream. I was actually at home, then suddenly appeared in the car you were in. You must have dreamed about me. So my spirit went to you. Then I recalled every detail. That happened under that dim yellow streetlight. He should mention it, right? Then does what you promised me earlier still count? I replied with just one word, but inside, my emotions turned violently. Dating a ghost is a strange thing, especially an invisible one. You have to try really hard just to feel like you're together. We can share a song, sleep on each other's sheets, but we can't touch each other. I've tried again to reach him, but dreams aren't easy to control. One day, he came up with an idea. Let's just have a candlelit dinner together. We'll use Da Huang's fur as our marker, so we'll know our hands are holding each other. Suddenly, Da Huang started barking fiercely at the empty chair across from him. Ran into the master. I was still gazing at him affectionately. Just then, the sound of typing from the master bedroom started again. What's going on? You left without even saying goodbye? Turns out I was just staring lovingly at thin air. I hurried inside to see what he had typed. On the screen, he said, I can suddenly see Da Huang now. Really? Old folks always say dogs can see things humans can't. It turns out it's true. Bring Da Huang in here. Maybe I can see you through his eyes. After he said that, I exclaimed in surprise. I quickly picked up Da Huang and brought him in. Sure enough, through Da Huang's eyes, I saw his reflection. He said he could see me too. Even though it was just a reflection, it made our impossible love feel a little more real. Usually, he'd guide me on improving my painting. After all, he's professionally trained. With his help, my art improved greatly. Armed with my zodiac sign, I finally landed my dream job. I renewed my rent, and could finally live peacefully with Liu Ruyan again. She's helped me a lot. Sometimes I wonder, what can I do for her in return? So I secretly went to see her mother without telling Liu Ruyan. She mentioned before that she hadn't spoken to her mom in half a year. I could tell she felt regretful too. I assumed any mother would have something to say to her child. I wanted to bring her some words, but after visiting their home, I realized I was wrong. Liu Ruyan's mom had remarried and had another child, a younger half-brother to Liu Ruyan. This kid wore flashy designer clothes and was chubby-faced. Liu Ruyan's mother was a teacher, giving off a calm, rigid impression. As she handed me a glass of water, she said, Liu Ruyan has a rather aloof personality. She doesn't have many friends. After what happened, you're actually the only classmate who came to check on her. Auntie, actually, she's really nice. Lots of classmates like her. Maybe they just didn't get the message. I lied to defend Liu Ruyan. Is that so? The aunt seemed skeptical and, study me carefully. I don't think I've seen you before. Did you come from Zing City? Doesn't ring a bell. Her gaze felt like a teacher interrogating a student caught cheating. I stammered nervously. Yes, Auntie. I've never been here before, on the day of Liu Huiyong's funeral. I was out of town. I'm really sorry. Funeral? What funeral? You must be mistaken. She adjusted her glasses and frowned at me. Where am I mistaken? Auntie, Liu Ruyan? Didn't she die suddenly from a heart attack? I slowed down, confused. She's still in the hospital right now. In the hospital? So, she's still alive, isn't she? I nearly jumped up in excitement, but kept telling myself not to get my hopes up too soon. When you receive the best news imaginable, you naturally fear it might all vanish. So you remind yourself not to get your hopes up too soon. While lost in thought, the aunt asked me again. You mentioned a funeral just now. Was that a misunderstanding, Auntie? I heard about Liu Ruyan from a classmate. I thought I paused for a moment, trying to hide my embarrassment. Auntie, how is she doing now? I said, rationally, she's actually already dead. The doctor told him that she had previously been in a vegetative state, but her brain function deteriorated very quickly. She might not be able to breathe on her own in just a few days. Auntie spoke as if she were talking about a stranger. I was thinking, if only Ruyan's soul could return to her body, maybe she could come back to life. Auntie kept complaining. She just wouldn't listen to me. If only she'd listened to me, it wouldn't have come to this. Could have had a much better future. I supported him studying art, and he finally got into art school. But after graduation, he insisted on drawing some lowbrow comic. His resentful, icy tone truly frightened me. Even now, with Ruyan like this, he's still holding on to past grievances. I interrupted. Auntie, are you going to the hospital today? Could I go with you to see him? Not today. I have to take his younger brother to the gym this afternoon. No time, Mom. Hurry up, we're going to be late. That chubby guy urged impatiently. All right, fine. How about this? Stay in the new city then. I'll give you the hospital address. You can go by yourself. We've hired a caregiver for Liu Ruyan. Here's the caregiver's number. What a terribly impartial mother. Now I finally understand why when we first met. He said he and I shared something, probably because, like him, I'm also a child abandoned by my family. The hospital reeked of disinfectant. Liu Ruyan lay there, bald-headed, connected to a ventilator. The caregiver sat in a folding chair beside her, absorbed in scrolling through short videos on her phone. I held Liu Ruyan's hand. It was warm. That intangible, invisible soul, combined with his body, makes up who he truly is. At that moment, I desperately wished he would wake up. Hey, young man, are you her classmate or what? The caregiver put down her phone and asked me. I'm her boyfriend. Oh dear, that's so tragic. Such a beautiful young girl. It's such a shame. The caregiver's words made me feel even worse. Young man, you should visit her as much as you can these days. She's been in the hospital for nearly 2 months, and her family hasn't visited more than a few times. Seems like in another half month. Her family plans to stop treatment. Once that happens, she'll be gone. So cherish every chance you get to see her. What do you mean, stop treatment? Yeah, they're moving overseas, apparently. The doctors say brain death is imminent. There's no chance she'll wake up. I remembered Liu Ruyan's mother's cold face, and felt absolutely furious. Please take good care of her these next few days. I told the caregiver, then rushed out of the hospital. Liu Ruyan, get back into your body right now. Come see for yourself what kind of person your dear mother really is. I raced home as fast as I could, furiously typing on my keyboard, and finally managed to wake Liu Ruyan up, even in broad daylight. What's wrong? Liu Ruyan typed. Ugh, can't you quit your habit of drawing only at night? Take care of yourself. Nobody else cares about your health. Don't you care about yourself either? I unfairly took out all my anger toward his mother on her. I'm already dead. What's the point of taking care of your body now? Haha, don't give me that haha, nonsense. Are you angry? What happened? Really? I took a deep breath to calm down before replying to him. Today I found out you're still alive. You're lying in a hospital bed as a vegetable. I'm alive? Are you kidding me? Who's kidding you? You need to get back into your own body quickly. Otherwise you'll really die. Is it because your family is abandoning you and moving abroad? I hesitated. I didn't tell him. Nobody could accept news like this. So I changed my wording. The doctor said your body won't last more than half a month. But I don't know how to get back into my own body anymore. Go ask around. Immediately, right now. Earlier this month, I already spent my entire mental salary. I hired several so-called masters, but none of them were reliable. My money went straight down the drain. Liu Ruyan hasn't made any progress in that world either. He said he couldn't go far outside before getting completely lost. He often runs into teacher Jix Xiaozhao, so he chats with her about literature. I was furious. You sure have the leisure for literary discussions? Isn't it true that time is running out day by day? Watching him grow weaker each day on that hospital bed, I'm more anxious than anyone else. Look, a whole week has already passed. When I complained to Liu Ruyan today about how the teacher who came to class only knows theological theory but can't do anything practical, he suddenly asked me if I really can't go back. How much longer can we stay together? Nobody in love ever thinks about this question, right? Now, he brought it up. I didn't know how to answer. To be honest, except for occasionally dreaming about him, the rest of the time, this relationship feels like I have dissociative identity disorder. I thought, if I really return to my body, maybe it'll turn out to be someone truly awful. Don't laugh. Whether you live or die, it'll stay with you. But right now, you'd better fight hard to come back to life. Actually, last night I went back home. I ran into my mom. She must have dreamed about me at that moment. She looked really angry when she saw me. She scolded me harshly and told me, they're moving. Abroad, I've already been declared brain dead. Has decided to stop treatment. You knew about this all along, didn't you? Yes, so what? Anyway, I won't abandon you. Wait, someone's coming. Suddenly, there was loud knocking at the door. I peeked through the peephole and saw it was actually the real estate agent and Lu Ruyan's younger brother. I hurried back to lock Lu Ruyan's room, but the agent had already used his key to open the door. They were trying to kick me out. When the agent asked why I'd entered the master bedroom without permission, and Lu Ruyan's brother questioned why I was pretending to be Lu Ruyan's classmate, I couldn't answer either of them. After just a few brief exchanges, I realized Lu Ruyan's brother never really treated her as a sister at all. He wouldn't have hidden it from his mom either. They colluded with an unscrupulous agent to rent out the living room. But I stood my ground. I still clung on here. I said the rental contract is right here. If you kick me out, it'll call the police. Seeing my determination, the two of them backed down. But I never expected Lu Ruyan's younger brother to directly hire a moving company and take all of Lu Ruyan's belongings away. After that, Lu Ruyan and I lost contact because we could only communicate through that computer. In this room, only Da Huang, his fur, and Lu Ruyan's computer can traverse the boundary between life and death. Precisely because of this, I know Lu Ruyan is still in this room because my dog Da Huang's shed fur is still being cleaned up by him every day, but he refuses to see me. I arranged Da Huang's fur into words, trying to communicate with him, but he won't speak. He probably thinks there's no future for us, so he won't come see me. Sometimes I see Da Huang wagging his tail at empty air, and I know he's there, but he quickly goes back to his own room, leaving Da Huang sadly gazing at the doorway. I've also tried seeing him again in my dreams. Every night I fall asleep thinking of his face, but I never see him. He must be hiding from me. When someone truly wants to hide from you, how could you possibly find them? I continued going to work as usual, made time to visit the hospital, to see him, and then went to find his mom again, telling her everything I knew, and begging her not to give up on treatment. But she dismissed my words as if they were just wind. I've done all I can. There's nothing more I can do. Time really is running out. I'm going to lose him. One day, I passed by a bookstore, and saw teacher Jix Xiao Jiao's book, the collection of letters he lent to teacher Lai Shanhai. Loving you is like loving life. Suddenly, an idea struck me. I thought of a way to see Lu Ruyan. I took leave from work, and bought the complete works of Jix Xiao Jiao. I read non-stop day and night. If I can't dream of you, Lu Ruyan, maybe I can at least dream of teacher Jix Xiao Yao. Those days, whenever I woke up, I'd read, and when I got sleepy, I'd sleep. Finally, on the fourth night, I dreamed of teacher Jix Xiao Yao. He was very tall, with thin lips, and when he smiled, his teeth showed fully. Young man, you've been reading my works quite frequently lately. In the dream, he was flipping through his own books in my room. That's because your writing is wonderful. I admitted without denial. But I sense you have another motive. Then it'll be straightforward, teacher D. Could you please help me with something? Have you seen the ghost residing in this room? My girlfriend. Do you know where he is now? He just went out. Seems like Hez deliberately avoiding you. Can you take me to find him? Sure thing, just a small favor. In the dream, I followed Jix Xiao Yao out of the room. The outside world remained utterly empty. We hadn't walked far. When the path forked, branching like patterns inside a kaleidoscope, stay close to me. Teacher Jix Xiao Yao said, twisting and turning, winding and looping. Finally, I found Lu Ruyan in a park. He was sitting on a swing, lost in thought. As soon as he saw me, he tried to run away. Teacher Jix Xiao Yao chased after him and grabbed hold of him. The boy has come all the way here. How can you just run away now? Don't run anymore. Don't make yourself regret it, okay? Lu Ruyan looked at me and said, how did you find me? Are you trying to get yourself killed or what? Tomorrow they're going to stop your treatment. Why don't you go back? I couldn't find my way back to the hospital. And I don't want to go back anyway. No one's waiting for me. Isn't me waiting for you enough? Forget it. I'm the kind of person who will only drag you down. Before he could finish, I hugged him tightly. I understood him, the way people who've never received love do. Not knowing how to love others. Just like how I always resented my parents for not loving me. Always wondering why they only cared about my younger brother. And after growing up, believing no one would ever love me. But even so, that doesn't mean we've lost our ability to love. I knew I couldn't lose him. He stood there frozen, fist clenched. He didn't hug me back, so I whispered in his ear. Believe me, before I didn't have the courage to face this world. But now, if we combine my courage with yours, together it should be enough to face this world, right? Slowly he raised his arms and hugged me, crying like a child. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have hidden from you. Truth is, I really missed you too. But I was also scared. What if I definitely couldn't survive? I'd only drag you down. As Lu Ruyan spoke, he burst into loud sobs. Teacher Jix Xiao Yao stood nearby, smiling silently. On our way back, the three of us, Jix Xiao Yao quietly said to me, young man, my book wasn't wasted on you, huh? What you just said to your girlfriend. Wasn't that straight out of my book? I stifled a laugh and gave teacher Jix Xiao Yao a thumbs up gesture. Even though you wrote it, it's still exactly how I truly feel. In our dream, Lu Ruyan and I made a promise. He'd go with me to the hospital. I'd bring Da Huang along, because he can see Da Huang in that world. As long as he follows Da Huang, he won't get lost. This was his last chance to return to his body. When I woke up, Da Huang was already raring to go. He jumped excitedly, following the invisible Lu Ruyan, only he could see. I opened the door and walked toward the hospital leading Da Huang. We walked the full 3 bus stops, until we finally reached the hospital entrance. But the security guard said dogs weren't allowed inside, so I let go of Da Huang and ran in first. Da Huang nimbly dodged the guard and chased after me. We avoided the elevator, and climbed 8 flights of stairs. Finally reaching the floor where Lu Ruyan's room was, I pushed open the ward door, and saw Lu Ruyan's mother and younger brother talking with the doctor. I knew exactly what they were about to do. Why are you here? His mom stared at me sharply. Please wait, don't give up on his treatment yet. Lu Ruyan is about to wake up. They looked at me as if I were crazy, then noticed Da Huang and panicked. A nurse rushed over, trying to chase Da Huang out. I walked over to the bedside, praying for you to wake up soon. Wake up, please. Lu Ruyan. But the Lu Ruyan in the hospital bed didn't move at all. He who was in that other world couldn't have gotten lost, could he? Kids, stop messing around. I know my daughter best. Stopping the treatment would also be a relief for her. Relief. Save your sweet talk. Why won't you admit that you just don't like him? Don't think that just because you're the elder, you're always right. Have you ever asked Lu Ruyan what he thinks? Have you ever truly cared about him from the bottom of your heart? Have you ever taken the time to understand the comics he draws? I shouted. That stirred up the other patients in the ward. And even the relatives gave disapproving looks as Lu Ruyan's mother lost all face and glared. Doctor, call security and take this crazy kid away. Before security could arrive, Lu Ruyan, his younger brother, had already grabbed my arm, trying to pull me out of the ward. At that moment, Da Huang ran back. Right? He started barking wildly, but was met with a kick from him. That damn fat guy sure has strength. He grabbed my clothes, trying to pull me out. Just as I was about to roll up my sleeves, to teach him a good lesson. A weak but resolute voice came from beside the bed. Let go of my boyfriend. I turned around and saw Liu Ruyan awake. In that moment, I was so happy I nearly cried. She, with her fragile frame, managed to sit up with great effort. I hurried over to support him. His mother watched her cry. I wasn't sure if it was genuine or just for show. She embraced Liu Ruyan, but Liu Ruyan replied coldly, Mom, why are you crying? Didn't you say in your dream last night that you wanted to stop my treatment? Upon hearing that, his mother's face looked as if she'd seen a ghost. Overwhelmed with shame, she ran out of the ward. Liu Ruyan's younger brother chased after her. The doctors and nurses were all stunned by this medical miracle. After a long while, the doctor finally spoke. Miss Liu, please lie down first. We need to run some tests on you. Liu Ruyan lay back on the bed, staring at me with his big blinking eyes. It made my heart race. It set my cheeks on fire. Then he suddenly said, Hey, who are you? I'm your dad. I scolded, though tears welled up in my eyes. As I turned to leave, he grabbed my hand. Don't go, I was just joking. You once said, you'd face the world with me. I smiled at him as I turned away. His hand was so soft and smooth. The hospital was still filled with the scent of disinfectant. This real touch and smell felt so different from meeting in a dream. In that moment, it was as if a warmth flowed from his palm into mine. And all I did was hold his hand even tighter. That is my memory. After Liu Ruyan recovered, we visited every tourist spot featured in those stage photos together. We toured all the sites in the city side by side. At the most cliched landmarks, we struck the most cliched scissors pose. Just like in those copycat tourist photos. We laughed without holding anything back. Totally carefree.